Alright, now I know that I tend to talk about art scams, AI, all that other stuff, but today I am talking about another person. It's an author, and this is kind of different territory for me, but I feel it's important because I love to talk about stuff that I think people should be wary of, or things that I think are interesting to talk about. This is like one of those things for me. And I believe that this person is unintentionally maybe taking advantage of her audience by taking their money without giving them a product, or giving them a bad product. So feel free to relax, draw, and let's talk about Audra Winters if you guys haven't heard about it. So who is she? Well, she is a TikToker that went viral in 2021. So let's look at her original TikTok. All right, here we go. Here is her original TikTok. So I'm just going to play it. So she's talking about her zodiac here, and she's been writing it since the 7th grade with a world centered around the zodiac. Now, that is originally what got me interested in this. I have been following her for a very long time. And so she said she was self-published when she was 14. It said the Zodiac Turner. Oh. And she rewrote the first book 3 times. Now, I want you guys to keep this in your mind for later, because it's going to matter. Because she wrote over 500,000 words for a series spanning 6 years. She says she wrote The Age of Scorpius is complete at 109,000 words. She shows the word count. You know, a lot of people were interested in it. There's already art of these characters. So that's how she originally went viral. Now the thing is that even though she says she's done all this writing, she has all this proof, I don't know if she's actually ever had writing partners or readers for this work. I mean, and if she says that she has, because she said that she has won a contest before. It went national, and she's trying to prove her moxie as a writer by doing this, right? So I wanted to go over this one too. This one is curious. So she goes, I'm 18 years old, I'm an author, and I've written 11 novels. 11 novels that no one has read, right? So she goes, this is her story, and she's gonna go, I've devoted myself to writing in the 4th grade. By age 14, I was self-published. Now, by self-published, that means that she published her own novel on Amazon. That is no longer available. And he goes, in high school, I wrote novels in a zodiac-centered world I've developed for 7 years. Now, this is back in 2018, I think. I've wrote over 1 million words by writing every night as long as I can remember. I wrote a 98,000 word novel in my senior year of high school, and it's an award-winning novel before it's published, both state and national. I feel Audra needs to, Miss Winters, I feel that if you're going to say these things, you should probably have a little bit of proof. Because what I see is I see a whole lot of things that you've written, but I'm not actually seeing the awards. I'm not seeing awards or anything. I'm just seeing a whole lot. Literally anyone can LARP and say that they're an award-winning author. That doesn't make it true. She goes, I grew up as a military kid, moved 7 times, writing was how I survived. Can I just say something? Can I just say something about this? When people say, this is the thing that I used to survive, most of the time, it's not really they needed survive. They couldn't survive without this thing. It's more that they didn't want to, and it's something they're obsessed with usually. But I just hate using the word survive, because it's implied that they would be elsewhere if not for this thing. And I don't know, for something that's an obsessive thing, I don't know how true that is. It's just me being pedantic about a word. I just feel like I feel like using the word cope would be better, because when I hear survive, I feel like they're dying. That's what I think. And I think that is taking it very drastic. That's just me. Okay? I know some people are going to be in my comments being well, this helped me survive, whatever. I know people say it all the time, but I just don't like using the word survive when it's used in this context. Anyway, so she goes, here is my book. It's Age of Scorpius. Here's a peek. And she just shows images, right? She shows images. She's not showing writing. She just shows images. That is the beginning of the red flags. Now, as I'm sure that you guys can tell, I'm going to point it out that Audra is also very conventionally attractive. She has blonde hair, blue eyes. She's 22 years old. You know, so she will get a lot of support from people just because she's pretty. And when you see this happen to a POC on TikTok or in general, people will assume the worst of them, but people are assuming the best of her, right? Even though she's shown us nothing so far other than, I've written a lot, right? But like, we don't see what she's written, only that she's written a lot. So in 2021, she decided to send her book to a literary agent and she got taken on. But it dragged for like 3 years, and she said she was revising that time. And I feel I've seen people say that it's normal, but I've also seen where people said that that's really too long and they don't believe her. And also during this time, she was trying to get hyped for her book on TikTok. Now, in my opinion, I feel that she uses a lot of buzzwords to do that. And she uses like neurodivergent, autistic author, pagan, dystopian, taking down the patriarchy, which is a good thing and a bad thing, but it feels like, to me, pandering. I feel that it's nice to tell your audience, you know, if your main character is a person of color, because that does appeal to a lot of people, even me. But the thing is at the end of the day, it's going to be what's on the back of the book that gets me to buy it. Okay. That's what it's going to be. Because I read oh my God, what was it? World of something. Hold on. Let me go find the name. Oh, it's The City of Brass. Okay. Now I'm going to read you The City of Brass. Okay. On the back cover, it says this: lyrical, Chakraborty's grasp of Middle Eastern history, folklore, and culture inspires a swiftly moving plot, richly drawn characters, and a beautifully constructed world that will that was by the Library Journal. That is literally what it says in the back, and then it gives you an overview of the story. It is a beautiful story. It is great, and it immediately hooked me in because I find books online, right? But I also find books at the bookstore, and I read the back of the books. Sometimes reading the back of the book will give you more information than anything online, because I don't like to read reviews, because I feel like reviews will tell me everything that's bad about the book, and I want to keep an open mind, right? So I tend to not read reviews. But City of Brass is a great example of just a little bit of stuff on the back really told me everything I needed to know about the story, and I was immediately hooked. Like, when I saw it was like Middle Eastern history, folklore, and culture, I was like, oh, sold immediately. Like, but if it was like, okay, so if it was like telling me, instead of that, if it said POC main character, enemies to lovers, like, I could get into that. But it's there, one feels generic and the other feels detailed. Like, this is a fucking sentence, and this sentence feels more detailed than telling me the tropes that you use in your book. It's cool that you have tropes and you use them, but I feel like the way that Audrey has marketed her book using tropes and using aesthetics has not done her justice. But it was a way to market her book, and that did work for her because aesthetics are a good marketing tactic. But the thing is for all of this marketing and for all of talking about her book, she doesn't seem to show a lot of her writing, and it feels like all of this is very surface level, in my opinion. So I want to show you guys. Let me show you something. All right. let me show you guys something. Do you see this Pisces? And then it's like pictures. Aquarius, and then it's like pictures. You know, like here it's Cancer, and then like Cancer things. Like that feels empty to me. Like, oh, look at my aesthetic. This is my aesthetic. And she also does it when she talks about one of her characters, right? And you can see right here, devotional nails for Lady Aphrodite. The same thing here. Please, Artemis, I love this. It's just my life lessons. Traces an Aries devotee. Like it's like aesthetic for her. Now I'm sure that part of this is like, you know, truly her, but I'm saying that in the context of her novel, I feel that Audrey is doing things for aesthetics, because I don't know if you guys know this is like a phenomenon. I feel like nobody has noticed it, but I've noticed it because I've been around, I don't know if it's just neurodivergent people, but I've seen where people who are like, I would say under 24, right? They become very into certain things and they become the thing, right? And they start like, they might dress like that thing, start doing that thing, but they are becoming the thing that they are talking about. So like, let's say someone is really, really, really into Twilight, right? I believe that if someone was really into Twilight and they were like under the age of 24, they might dye their hair dark brown. They might want to wear the same jacket. They might want to have Bella inspired outfits, because essentially they're being Bella. I've had friends do this with all types of stuff where it would almost be like cosplaying. Does that make sense? I've noticed this, that people will literally like, I also had a friend who he wanted to be a badass so badly that he like bought a Mustang. And I'm not saying you're not badass if you are, but I'm saying like he wanted to be the thing. So he did the thing to make him look that way, right? Like he was like kind of a nerdy guy, and he also had like a nerdy voice. But then, you know, you would see him with sunglasses in his Mustang, and you know he was like trying to be a badass. You know what I mean? Like some people who saw him might be like, that dude's a badass. But I know him as the nerdy guy, so he doesn't seem badass to me. But it's like a little bit performative. Like I remember he used to wear a leather jacket as well to look cooler. But it was like 90 degrees outside. I was like, brother, what are you doing? What are you doing? You're a crazy person. Like that's what I feel like some of this stuff is, because it's an aesthetic, but it's also cosplay, sort of. So that's kind of why I believe that she is a little bit performative, okay? A little bit. And you'll see more of this later. But that's kind of what I mean by it being surface level. You know what I mean? I'm sure you guys can see from what I'm putting down here. So during like 3 years, she was gone. Like she was trying to get viral again, and she was just doing things during COVID like everyone else. But she was focused on getting her book published because she had an agent, right? But she really tries to get hyped for the book. But this is, okay, so this is the thing where I do think maybe it hurt her account a little bit. So TikTok's a little bit like YouTube, where you have to have a niche, and she's jumping back and forth between her niches. So she's like a book talker, and then she's talking about like the national, like living in a park during a national crisis. Like that is interesting, but it is not her, it's not about her book, right? Because she's also a naturalist. A little bit like me. And a part of me thinks that she tried other avenues to get people on her page. Like there's this part, these videos here. She's talking about the election. She's getting very opinionated as young people who are around this age. She's probably 20. No. That's a while ago. Hold on. She's younger than 20 here. She's younger than 20. I don't know how old she is, but I know she's younger than 20 in these pictures. In these videos, she's younger than 20. She's becoming opinionated for the first time, really, and she is going through a lot of, finding herself, but she's doing it on TikTok, right? Where she's posting things about her book, and then she's also talking about side subjects that aren't about her novel. So she has up and down, views. Like you can see right here, you're a pagan dystopian author, and first video to go viral after 2 years of finalizing your novel. You work on your goddess, I don't know what that says, on rebellion. So it's another buzzword thing. You know what I mean? I don't know. For example, people know that I'm Puerto Rican, people know that I got ADHD, but you kind of find that out through most of my, it's in my bio that I'm Puerto Rican because I am proud of being Puerto Rican. My God. Game overlay. No. Okay, but what I was mostly saying was that, on these videos, she kind of disappeared for a while, and she did come back, and she came back really after, some of these videos started doing well, because she thought she was going to get more followers. So yeah, from 2022 to 2024, she was kind of absent, probably because she was just doing shit. She was just doing some shit. But when she started actually coming back, she made this video here, and we're gonna watch it together.
Put a finger down if you went super viral in 2021 for a young adult fantasy novel based around the zodiac signs that you wrote, a series you worked on since you were 12 years old, and you actually gained 100,000 followers within 3 months for a book that had not been published yet. So you signed with a literary agency at age 19 because your book was so popular and so viral, but that book stayed in revision for 3 years after that because you wanted to make it the best that it could be, and so did your agency, and so you spent tons of time grueling over revisions. And within these 3 years, you moved to college, you moved to Colorado, and then you moved to Yellowstone National Park, and you experienced a natural disaster, and you moved back to Colorado because of that. And then you had your worst lesbian heartbreak of your life in Colorado. And so then you moved to Alaska and become a deckhand because you have to jump to conclusions, obviously. And then at the ripe age of 21, after working on your book for 3 years straight, your literary agency changes genres and dumps you. And so
okay, I wanted to talk about this. I do not believe that a literary agent would dump all of their clients. I just don't believe that because they change genres. The census across the board is that this comment is sus. From other people's whose videos I watched, they hear her say that she got dropped by a literary agent because they changed genres, and that sounds just crazy to them. And the fact that she doesn't bring up this person, it could be just because of privacy reasons, but I'm gonna put on a hat. Nope, that's not a hat. I'm gonna put on this hat for a minute. Okay? So I think that Audra Winters did get a literary agent, and she spent too much time revising her edition, and she spent so much time that they dropped her because it wasn't up to par. That is just my 2 cents, because somewhere in all of these TikToks, there's a comment somewhere that mentions that they decided to go their own separate ways, or something along the lines where it wasn't that she got dropped. There was something else. I believe she was dropped, but not because of a genre change. She was dropped because of her revisions, and we're going to talk about her revisions later, so also keep a pin in that.
Now you're back to square one, and you're with 100,000 followers on TikTok, and you want to do the same thing that you were going to do a day before your literary agency signed you and launch a Kickstarter and self-publish your book so you have control over it, especially now that the government is falling apart. But you can't get a single video about your book to go viral.
Of course,
now.
I suspect
even though you know it probably should be going viral because nothing has changed. And the one video that you get to go viral is witchcraft. So that's where we're at right now.
So from there, she spends a lot of time working on videos to get herself to go viral, right? And she does legitimately take a lot of time focusing on going viral again. But the problem, in my opinion, is that she says that she spends 50 hours a week per this video right here. This one right here. It says extremely low effort video because I've spent 51 hours on this app a week filming and editing videos just to try to get one thing to go viral for my book. I'd really like to be able to publish it after 10 years of writing, obviously. Okay, girl, like, we know that you are working on this, but this is her marketing period now, right? This is the 2024 marketing period. She spends basically the entire year marketing her novel and trying to go viral by posting stuff all the time. But you know what she doesn't show? She does not show her writing. She shows it from a distance where people can't read it. And she'll say stuff like, writing some unhinged strategies after I use some unhinged strategies I use for working on the same world for 10 years. Girl, I don't believe you. I'm going to tell you. Okay. As a person who also writes worlds, I do not believe that she did any of this shit. Okay. I think it's just a joke. We gotta read this together, okay? Every morning I blindfold myself for an hour and mentally walk through one of my work in progress scenes. And when I can't figure out how to solve an issue in the current book, I just jump forward at least one book to better understand the character who's giving me issues. I write the new scene in total darkness, no lights allowed. I lock my screen on my document, lay in bed, and write until I can't stay awake any longer. Always have a notepad open. Every single idea, thoughts or questions need to be written down, no matter how stupid you think it sounds. I actually have a really good thing on world building, and if you guys want to see that, I will link it at the not at the bottom. I will link it at the end of the video. It's on my other channel. I think it's a really good video, like for realsies. I comment on my own scenes with a color-coded system when writing and while revising on things such as plot, voice, character development, and world building. I just don't believe that. I don't believe that based on what we've seen. I don't believe that she's doing that. I don't believe any of the things in this TikTok are real. This is cringe. Girls, I learned how to lucid dream to walk my world and understand it from different conscious perspectives. Let me give you writing advice. Just go into the world of dreams and dream about your world, and then you'll figure it out. Like, what kind of fucking advice is that? And the fact that she says she spends 3 hours a day working on her novels. Nope. Girl, no, I don't believe you. Nope. So I would say, what time is this? In January of 2025, after she's gotten more people interested in her project, she is now looking for artists. And people are like, so let's look as an artist, let's watch this together.
A young adult fantasy series based around the Zodiac with fantasy artists that might be looking for a cool new gig. My name is Audra Winters. I am the author of a young adult fantasy series based around the zodiac signs, and I am seeking.
So see, okay, the thing with the zodiac signs is I would even have joined this if I saw it back in January or February. I would have been interested in this. This is something I would have been very interested in. I would have loved to try myself.
A full team of artists to join me on this.
But she says that she's seeking out an entire team of artists, which doesn't make sense for someone with a book. Oh no, I forgot to talk about the Kickstarter. When I'm done with this, we're going to talk about the Kickstarter.
I'm an independent writer who has worked on this book for 10 years now, and I am just about to debut the first book. I'm also an author who is extremely anti-AI. As an author who has the privilege of having a platform and having a voice in an industry where normally artists of all kinds don't, I would really like to put names behind my project that are also independent small artists. So I want to work with a team on all kinds of different things, all kinds of different mediums between character art, map art, posters, landscape art, symbology. If you were an artist of any kind of medium and this sounds like a cool project to you, please do apply. I have a link to my website in my bio, and if you look on.
Okay, that's enough. We only need to see that. Okay, so before she actually tried this self-publishing route, she wanted to do a Kickstarter, right? She wanted to do a Kickstarter. So I did want to mention, on top of the Kickstarter thing, in 2024, she made sure to tell us how much of an amazing author she is, awards and everything, but there doesn't seem to be anything about the book. So I don't know if it was true or not. Like, all I know is that she's written something for a long time. Anyway, when she got her book stuck in query hell, she came back in 2024 in my opinion, showing her obviously privileged lifestyle. But I feel like she has yet to start pushing all of this other stuff that she talks about all the time. So she puts out a bunch of videos, and on one of the videos, since she couldn't get it published, so she wants to go viral for her book, and she thought that because she had a Kickstarter for her novel that it would help her since she couldn't get it published. She thinks that she's entitled to another viral video. Like, girl, come on now. I don't know how much I believe. You're not entitled to anything. No one is entitled to anything in this world. That's just how the world works. You're not entitled to a viral video. I had one viral video like last year. But you have to just really try, and you have to get lucky to get a viral video. Now, during this time of trying to go viral, she launches her Kickstarter. So this is all that's left over her Kickstarter. She canceled it. Oh no, here it is. Here it is. Okay. So her goal was 8,000, right? And it got canceled. So let's see what the rewards were. The paperback was 18. Okay. A signed paperback was 20. Hardcover was 25. Yeah, it did not do well on Kickstarter. I'm assuming... Okay, so I assume that why this did poorly is because it is a write in progress, not a finished write. And most people, like, I feel like when it comes to books, people really should have the book already finished and written, and then everything comes afterwards, right? Because when we talk about how much this stuff should be, there is no fucking way it needed to cost $8,000. No fucking way. We're going to look at some other people. Now look at this. This is 3... Oh my goodness. Stop that. 3 unusual magic worlds, 3 authors, 5 hardcovers, 7 stories. Escape into worlds built on African lore, Celtic legend, and music as magic. Oh, you know what? Maybe I might do this. Ooh, this looks like me. I didn't even see this thing up here. It got me. It got me with this. It got me with that. Anyway, the point is that these are 3 books, and the goal has already been reached. And this is like 3 books compared to her 1. And here's another here. This is Titan Nest Saga, exclusive signed copies, Dragon Rider series. Let's see. You get book 1 and book 2, but you also get new stuff 4 days ago. And look how much that costs. $2,000 for 2 books. $2,000 for 2 books, and it did over $28,000. Like, she could have made it smaller. I think she was trying to aim for too big. Tried to aim too big. And here's the last one we're going to look at. Look at this. Kiss a Fae. It's like a school setting with fays, I guess. And like $7,500 is nothing. Because you're getting 4 fucking books. You're getting 4 books. That is a lot. This is the right price. Her price was bad. And that's why I believe that she went the route of self-publishing. Now, what I don't like is that she did a little bit of sympathy posting, talking about how she couldn't go viral. I really don't like that kind of thing. And she also whines about her numbers. Like, girl, I get it. But do not come on and cry on TikTok like, yo, one of my passionate videos that I made for myself had like 500 views. Some of my videos failed like ass. I'm not crying about it. I don't ever cry about the algo. You know, I whine about it here and there. You guys have heard me. But I just don't take it that seriously unless it's affecting me personally. And check. Now, okay, so now around February, she talks about her mastery of writing. I feel it is very important to go through this video. It's important to understand her perspective. And in this, she says that she's written loads of books, that the writing she receives, that she revises and restarts the book every time, which means she's not rereading and not re-editing, but a full rewrite, which I believe is a waste of time without actually going over the OG piece. So let's look real quick. Okay, so here's the video. So here's the video that I found, and we're gonna go look. Ooh, I gotta move my mic closer to my mouth. Okay, everything is going haywire. So it says here that she wants to talk about her mastery. So we're gonna. I'm not gonna have the audio because this girl likes to put stuff on her audio. So I'm a 22-year-old author who has been working on my world series for 10 years, and we're going to talk about this today. And it goes, no one is discrediting the work you did, but it's crazy for you to count the ages before 16 and 17. Most writers have been writing since that age, and it's not considered because you're a kid. Like, that is a little bit weird, but also it does count if you're actually fucking writing. Like, if you're writing developed stories, which is not what she is doing. We're going to talk about Malcolm Gladwell's theory of 10,000 hours to mastery. If you are not familiar with what that is, it is a theory obviously by Malcolm Gladwell, and his book, Eller's super good, highly recommend it. I read it in high school. I'm willing to bet some people watch it also read it. He states that writing is a developed skill. It is not a natural born talent. And in order to achieve mastery, he says that one must spend 10,000 hours. I have achieved that according to Malcolm Gladwell's theory. For reference, I'm an autistic individual, and my special interest is this world. So I do not write to publish. I write to develop this world. So did you hear that? Not to write to publish, but to write to the world. Working in for 10 years since I was 12 years old, with the same characters, with all the storylines that have branched off from one another, and every single night since I was 12 years old, I have written for at least 3 hours. That's not an exaggeration. That does not make me make up stuff. That's because I genuinely go to sleep at night, and I usually spend more than 3 hours writing here and there, sometimes in the middle of the day. Sometimes I jot down notes, notebooks everywhere I go. I also have that. The notebooks. I'm thinking about my characters and my world, and I'm plotting in my head while I'm driving. That happens to literally everyone. So this is my special interest. Of course, there are days where I did not do 3 hours of writing for various reasons, but most of the time, I do more than that. Okay. And like I said, there is something that matters so deeply to me that I genuinely want to spend as much time on this as possible. So we're going to do some calculations here. I'm a writer and I have a notebook here, and I got some help from Google, and we're going to see with calculations if I have it. Okay, so she does. So hold on. I want to go back to this little part here. And not everybody totally understands why I am that serious about it. And if you don't think that I have 10,000 hours of writing, I do definitely at least have 10,000 hours of writing in world building. I have 10,000 hours of writing in world building. Okay. Right there, clear as fucking day. She says, I have not written enough. Right there. People hear world building and they don't know what that fucking means because they've never fucking done it. If someone said I did 10,000 hours of world building, I'd be like, okay, so you didn't write a story then. Like, you didn't write anything significant. She shows that she has significant writing, but at the same time, she says she has 10,000 hours mostly in world building. And you know what? We're going to look at this is coming from me as a world builder, okay? We're going to go look at my world building stuff for a second. This is not me like making you guys interested in my shit. This is me showing you what she's talking about, okay? We're going to go look at my stuff. All right. So here I have the world of Aradia. Now, a lot of these are written. I have characters, I have locations, I have places. I wrote all this stuff. Some of this stuff is so old. It's so old. Like, because I wrote some of it when I was in college. I wrote some of it while I was at work. I wrote some of it while I was on vacations. I've just written things just to fill up the pages, just to fill up the world. So let me pick something here. You know what? I will pick this. This is a character. This is my character template. So it doesn't even have the characters on it. It's because it's a template. It just has all this stuff, but it just goes. It's just giving summaries. So this is a summary of her background, right? And this is a summary of her personality, and then just random facts, right? But as you get into like places like lore, like where I talk about the 5th season here, this is not too, well, this is actually very long. This world building and making notes for world building is not the same as writing a developed story, because you're developing a world, so you're only making stuff that people would see. that people will never see. People will never see all of this writing that I've done for my world. People will never see it unless I show them, unless I come out with something else. Okay? They just won't. That's just not how it works. When you make a world, you're literally writing facts for yourself, for you to remember, the user to remember, not the, like, for example, I'm going to give you a random fact from my world right now. Nimesty is a religion in Solstice that started because there was an overthrow of the Elven kingdom who kept humans as slaves. Their slave religion turned into the religion of the state. People hold their feelings inside because as slaves, they could not show emotions, nor could they speak due to having collars so tight around their necks. Once a year, they have what is called the Liberation Festival, where everyone wears collars, even the Pope King, and then they destroy them at the end of the night. This is an example of the lore she could have brought up during her whole year where she was talking about her world, giving various examples of her world building, because this is actually what she is. She is a world builder. She is not an author. She is not a writer. She's not a writer. She's a world builder. All right, this is post-editing Nimis, and I'm coming back to talk about this world building situation. So after looking over a lot of the world building in the world, from what a lot of people have said, I'm going to make a video on my Nimisphere channel that has a lot of world building content on it already. So I was originally going to put it in this video, but it is probably an extra 40 minutes, maybe 25 minutes long. And I feel like, because I'm going over the entire situation of Audra Winters, I feel like inputting that here would really take away from how much effort I put into doing that part of the video. So I'm going to make it a separate video. I'm going to upload these two videos attempted in the same weekend. So you will have this video and you will have the world building video. So you can watch it right after that. So if you want to, please support my Nimisphere channel. You will see the icon and all that appear right on the screen right now. Please go over there and subscribe so you can see when it comes up, and put on the bell. I don't upload there very often for that reason, but go over there. It's not that I'm trying to get that. I just feel like that content was so much effort. I feel like it needs to go on my other channel. Okay, now I'm done. And the thing is when you're basically a world builder, you are not writing anything people are going to see. It's for a possibility. Most people who write these worlds, they just write them because it's a whole. It is a whole that is a fun project to do, that is a never-ending project. Like, for example, before I could even start on my light novel, I needed a 5th season to happen in my world. I have never written in a 5th season, but I decided my world needed one. So I needed to spend all this time writing a 5th season, and then I needed time to write why the 5th season came to pass, and if the thing even still works, and like a bunch of different things. So it's just a rabbit hole you get sucked down in. Now with Audrey's world, because she feels that she's a master world builder, I feel that her world is a paracosm. A paracosm is essentially a coping mechanism for the world, where you create an inner world that's like, think of an imaginary friend, but instead of an imaginary friend, it's an imaginary world in your head. And she's obviously written it down and written things, but it's a coping mechanism for how she shapes the world. I'm going to leave a link to somebody else who mentioned this, and I thought it was very interesting. And because I'm a world builder, I wanted to include that little part, because if she is seeing as a paracosm, she is too close to the project. And from how she has been showing herself later on in the project, that she literally can't handle criticism because it is too close to her heart. Like when I first heard of this, I got worried about, am I too close to my project that if someone were to give me like firm criticism, would I be able to handle it? And the answer is yes, not only because I am not 22, but it is also because I have let people tear my shit apart. I am open to letting people tear shit apart. I also use these. I also roleplay. I do text roleplay in this world. I create stories in this world with other people that make sense. And I use the lore from my world in writing. I think that what Audrey was doing was she was making short stories, maybe using the lore a little bit, but there was no one to bounce off of in that way. And I'm saying, like, best advice ever that I figured out. If you have a world and you're thinking about writing in it, I'm not talking about using AI. Don't use AI, okay? It won't give you the right feedback, all right? Find a person, find a partner, find a writer on r/roleplay search. Dumb down your world to 3 pages if you can. Dumb it down as much as you possibly can for stupid people, okay? And then make an ad using that. Pick one character and one story. Like you're going to write a book, right? Advertise for that in roleplay. And then actually try to roleplay it out. You will find out very quickly what does and does not fucking work. Like and you'll find stuff that people might even be able to give you an idea. So that is the best advice I can give you. Do that. Anyway, I think she's too close to her project. I think she was always a world builder. I think she loves world building because it's her special interest. I don't think she's a writer, and that's why she procrastinates, because I know so many people who world build but never actually write a novel. And I don't know if there's any people in my audience, but if you do that, you know you do it. And there's another reason for you to believe that this is a paracosm, okay? Let me find something. There's something on her TikTok where she says, I am doing this there it is. Hold on. It's this video right here. It's this one. It says, here is some of the slightly insane things I've done to learn as an author for the purpose of writing fantasy, right? So we're going to watch it real quick. So she says, horseback riding, which girl, I don't believe that you just decided that you were going to go horseback riding for your novel. No, you weren't. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. Because I believe you went horseback riding because it was fun and it just happened. And now you have the knowledge. Wilderness survival skills. She worked in Yellowstone National Park. Of course you're going to learn these skills. You didn't just you moved to Yellowstone and you live there. So now you have these wilderness survival skills because you lived in the park, you were working at the park. So of course now you have these skills. You didn't go out to purposely learn them. Wilderness first aid in progress. Multi-day backpacking. She claims that she's a naturalist. All of this stuff she does because it's fun. She's doing it because it's fun. It wasn't part of her book. It was because it just happened and it was something that she was going to do anyway. I went to Vegas and you know what? I'll actually wait till we're done. Climbing a volcano. And you know what? It actually, to me, it shows a little bit of her privilege. Is that mean? I feel like that's a little bit mean to say. I feel like this is a scenario where most poor people and most people of color would not be able to do these things without having to pay significant money. So that's why she's too young and she doesn't have enough money to do all these things normally. And they're from all different time. They're all different locations, right? Walking a burned forest. I did that. Living in the middle of a national park. That was your dad, girl. That was your dad. That wasn't you. That was your dad. Becoming a deckhand. She mentions that she became a deckhand because she already mentioned in a different video that it just happened because she had the worst heartbreak of her life. She says operating a boat. Girl, what are you learning how to operate a boat like this for fantasy novels? Snowmobiling in your fantasy novel? That's the something. No, girl, you just did that shit for fun. Skiing, this one went badly. Flying in a seaplane, I felt like I was riding a dragon. Endurance training, strength training. But the thing is okay, I feel a lot of these things that she's saying, they're just things that happen. They're not things that is actually part of her novel, because like strength training, like in the way that we do it, and endurance training in the way that we do it is different than the way something that like someone back then in a fantasy setting would do it. She says a lesbian breakup, but she's also like, it's weird because the video that she uses there to show her lesbian breakup, she uses when she cries over like feeling like she's not getting finished with her book. I don't know, like very performative. And then she does witchcraft. So, okay, now I'll tell you my experience. So, me and my husband a few years ago, we went to Las Vegas and we had so much fun. We had so much fun there. And it was only for 4 days. But I learned so much about the desert that I went to school for environmental biology. And there's things that you just can't imagine until you experience it. Like, I know that there's different types of like desert, like earth, but to experience what it feels like I did not know some of it felt like kitty litter. Some of it was sand. Some of it was flat and dusty. And some of it is just like normal ground, but just cracked. I didn't know that like when you walk on what used to have water in it, even though it's long been gone, when you step on it, it like you can apply pressure and your foot will sink in a little bit. Like, I didn't know that. There's things that there's just so many things that you don't know. Like seeing sand dunes for the first time is, they're so big. And even like approaching them from a distance, you're like, holy shit, they're huge. You can't, it's something you just can't imagine. You have to experience. Like seeing the Hoover Dam. I saw it because I like Fallout. Like the Hoover Dam makes it look tiny in the game. But when you go and like in person and you see how big it is, it's big. Like along the walkway, it's small, but on the steep overhang look, it's huge. Huge. You look like you're just going to fall down and die. Like, that was, like, the stuff that I learned about the desert while being there, I will take back with me. And, like, that's kind of what I think she did. So I think, overall, for the world building part of this video, I think that Audra Winters is probably a good world builder. She looks like she has a lot of documents. And I believe that she has written full novels before, but I feel like it's NaNoWriMo type stuff, where it's super fast, it's unedited, and she's just writing different things out. She says she did it when she was 14, but she took it down. I would love to see what was in that novel. I would love to see what's in that one that she said she self-published, because she took it down. It must not have been very good if she didn't leave it up. Just my opinion. Or worst case scenario, she rehashed that novel and Control-Alted some stuff. Sorry. Or she repurposed that novel for this one. And she did Control-Find and replace stuff. Because there's a part in her novel where someone said that a character's name was changed and she missed it. And some of her own words for her lore is misspelled. I believe maybe a little bit tinfoily that she used that old novel to recreate her new one, and she just started editing around it, and then some of the stuff didn't apply because it's older, and that's why that character name was left in. So on top of that, let's talk about this teen stuff. Now, if you look at her TikTok, which we're going to look at her TikTok again, right? I'm going to go down to where she starts posting about her coming back to TikTok. Where is it? Oh, there it is. All right. So you guys see down here, this is really her aesthetic. Nature girl, sweatshirts, big glasses. That's the aesthetic, right? And then there's one here where she's just in a t-shirt and some khaki shorts with some sneakers out in the woods. You know, very natural looking. Another here where she's working out or whatever. Now look, she goes through her little witchcraft phase here, and then she's still doing it here, and she goes through like wearing much simpler clothing, and she's still doing her deckhand stuff, but she's also into this like very simple clothing here. But as you continue to scroll up, that kind of disappears to her wearing this black t-shirt with her hair tied back. And it becomes more and more and more like she's changed who she is as a person because of her aesthetic or whatever. Because she starts like talking about her team. Now remember when I said she got to a bunch of artists? She hired like 15 artists because overnight, I feel her book got like a shit ton of pre-orders, like 8K, like a crazy amount of pre-orders. And she just hired a bunch of artists immediately, right? Now let's talk about these artists. All right. I want to talk about these artists. And I actually have some information too that I talked to one of them. So on her LinkedIn, which by the way, I'm gonna make a comment about this. Audrey, if you are listening to this, hear me out. I feel that if you are going to post that stuff on your Instagram or on your TikTok, you need to link back directly using the link. You can't just go at ArtStation this, because it took me a while to find some of these people because I could not be sure if it was truly them. So having the LinkedIn is great, but if you post them on different social media or on TikTok, you need to put in, even if it's just a link that you put like in the description or something else. Either way, you need to make it more visible who drew what. So anyway, so here are the artists. So there's Elle Rose of the United States, Joe, Karen, Mandy, Bam Coded. Bam Coded is the one I talked to. Orc Mouse, Sully, Martin, Bug, Russell, Yikshan, Asia, and Marty. So let's look at some of these artists. This person is very good. This person has it fucking locked down. This person's great. Oh, and they give... Interesting. Like, this is a professional ass person. So let's look at another one. This is Elle Rose. Yeah, look, like damn, dude, they're fucking great. So let's look at another one. Let's look at Joe. So Joe is has a very strong graphic design. Shit. Oh, well, let's look at this concept art. Okay, so he is, wow, he's very good. Wow. Very good. He's also very good. He has a lot of skill in creating buildings and things. I can see why she would hire him. So let's look at Karen. I feel like because she is not uplifting them enough, even though she fucking talks about them, I feel like people need to see them. Just in my opinion. Oh, I love this. This person is also very good. All right. So we looked at this. It's Karen. Let's look at Mandy. So Mandy is like... holy shit. Like, holy shit. Like, she got some professional ass people. Like, this is amazing. Like, bitch, teach me. Teach me this shit. Amanda, teach me. She's great. I can't even, I'm not gonna complain about any of these artists, like, anything. Like, they're fucking great. Like, I can't fucking draw that. My shit looks like shit. Don't even look like this. Like, this person's great. Okay, so this is Bam. Even though this is not, there's not that much here. I mean, this person is really good at what they do. Very good. Very, very good. Look how strong their line art is. Oh my god, I wish I could do this. They just got a lot of dynamics. They know what they're drawing. Clearly their character work is their preferred work. Alright, just person's great. So we're done looking at that one. Oh my god, there's so many artists. All good. Oh, well, what is it? Oh, so this is a very unique style. Very cute. I can see why she picked them. Let's see. Okay, Sully. This is the person who she talks to about her world a lot. Okay, hear me out. This is another theory. I think that Sully is in love with her. Like this art is good, man. This art is good. So good. But they have a lot here. Look at this one. This one's really good too. Ooh, I like that. Is this a speed paint? Oh. Okay. So clearly we have enough evidence that this person is, arcane art. Look at that. Pretty good. Pretty good. All right, who's next? Bug. Oh. So here is Bug. Oh look, they did a work similar to mine. Similar. Not the same, but similar. I love this. It kind of reminds me of GTA, especially this one. I like this one. Look how pretty. I love this one too. And that one. Alright, well, this is enough for this one. Got a few more guys. Like, this person draws a lot of Final Fantasy art. They're very good too. Very professional. Like, commission work for a TTRPG. Like, damn, dude. Like, damn. She really do be hiring like anybody. Here's this Canadian person. Oh, look, I love that. I love that. A small town renowned for its agriculture and flowers. Windmills and blooming flowers can be seen everywhere. I'm gonna save this because it's so pretty. Like, they have such good art and they're so detailed. Teach me how to draw, Yeekshin. I'll give you money. Okay. Well, that's that person. And here's Marty. And this is, oh my God. And this is Marty. Let's look at some of their art. Pretty good. Pretty good. Ooh. Oh, Lord, he's coming. Oh, Lord, he's coming. Very cute. Good shape language. Good shape language. Okay, so this one is Maku. Is that what it says at the bottom? No, Martin. Martin is who we're looking at now. Marty. My bad. Marty. Look at that. So good. Even though it's so super simple, it's super nice. And it's an all he's coming tiger. Like, so chunky. Anyway, so I believe that's all of her artists. Now, let's talk about how these people are getting paid. So I talked to Bam Coded. Now, you guys are just going to have to trust me on this conversation. I do have screenshots and I did record it, but I'm not going to show it because I do not really like showing DMs. I feel it is in poor taste to show DMs and tacky. So a lot of people are interested in how does she have this team of artists? How is she affording it? Unless she's given daddy's money and she's a trust fund kid, how is she affording it? It makes absolutely no fucking sense, right? So I decided I would just message one of them and I go, hey, hi there. I want to ask some questions to somebody on the World of Guardian. Would you be open to questions? And he goes, yeah, sure, ask away. And I said, I'm curious what your workload is. Like, are you called an employee? Are you contracted? Your work is really nice. Are you paid per piece? Are you paid by the hour? Like, I'm just dying to know of curiosity because I feel like everybody wants to know, how is she taking care of all these artists? I'm like, and what does the work of like a team member look like? I know that there's some things you probably can't tell me, but anything I would appreciate. And he goes, oh, yeah, I am paid per piece. And I'm like, and he offers to send me a link to send my portfolio in. But I'm like, no, I'm okay. I'm like, so let me ask you, is it like Disney where everything that you make automatically belongs to her? And he goes, what do you mean by auto belongs? I'm like, well, because you're working for a company, like if you worked for Disney, all of the work you do for Disney belongs to Disney. Is it like that? And he goes, yeah, but we can ask permission if we want to post them on our socials or a portfolio. And I was like, oh, okay. And he goes, and I hope that helps. And I said, it does. Thanks for talking to me. And I wanted to be open a little bit. And I said, if you wanted to know why I was interested, it is because of the online discourse. A lot of artists are always mentioned, but how they're being paid isn't mentioned. And I said, I believe that they are paid. I just was curious as to how. And I'm like, thank you so much for making it black and white. So yes, they are getting paid. They do get paid normally. They get paid per piece. So essentially, this is a group of people that she gathered in one Discord probably, or Slack or whatever. And while she's paying them to work on her art for her novels and stuff, she's also talking to them in Discord phone calls. And I believe, okay, it's not a cult, but it's like one where they're all gathered for a purpose to do a thing together where one person is in charge. That is kind of what I'm meaning. Like, she is in charge of all of the artists there, and they're getting paid per piece, so they're not obligated to be there, but they are staying there because all of them know that they're getting paid to do this stuff. So this is another thing I wanted to talk about when it comes to her and those artists. I believe that these artists are a support system for her and they're friends for her. But because these people are seeing it, they're either seeing it two ways. One, this is a business. She has made it a business, not a one-time thing, right? So all of these people are working on the World of Guardian, and they can use that on a fucking portfolio, on a resume, like a real resume. I did 56 pieces for the World of Guardian. Like, people might not know what the fucking World of Guardian is, but you made 56 pieces for it. It looks like it's a game. It looks like it's a graphic novel. So it will stand out. You said you made this many pieces, so it looks like somebody trusted you this many times. It is probably a fucking great side gig. So the people that are in it, great side gig, good for them. But also, they're her support system going through this situation with her book. And when that inevitably breaks, it will be terrible. It'll be terrible. Because I just feel she's too emotionally close to these people, spending hours upon hours upon hours in Discord calls watching them draw. Like she's like, it's studio time. No, honey, it's just you hanging out with your friends. Like, you're just paying them. Like, I think she is very misunderstood about. I think she is misunderstanding what that is. And I'm not, I'm really trying to be forgiving here. So during the time where she gathers these artists and she's doing all this stuff, she's just like doing shit on TikTok. But she's not telling us about like her book. She's not talking about her book. She's talking about like aesthetics and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, in general, she is not showing anybody what her writing is like, which is a huge red flag. Huge red flag. And I think that her new aesthetic of like Elizabeth Holmes, listen, I know that Elizabeth Holmes shit is funny. I know Elizabeth Holmes did something really terrible, and she just happens to look like her, and it's just I get it. I get it. It is funny, but also like, come on. So I think that she's trying to go, I think she wants to be J.K. Rowling or like G.R.R. Martin. I think that's what she wants to do. It just feels that way to me. Because she wants to, she keeps calling a multimedia project where she has animators like, girl, what you animating? Like, what are you doing? Now, during this time on her social media with her book, this is called like the downfall of her book. Okay. People start getting a little bit weird because she says that she has editors, but she starts like saying stuff. Okay. So we're going to look at her this video. This is a video where I think she starts getting a little bit wild, in my opinion.
My name is Audra Winters. I am the creator of the World of Guardian, which is a Zodiac-based fantasy world, and the author of a book.
Do you kind of see how she's doing this like corporate look here?
Called The Age of Scorpius, which is the first book that takes place in that world. And I am now a 6-figure business owner of a digital
creative studio. I am a business owner.
Yeah, I made a really interesting choice as an author, and that choice was to sell pre-order copies of my book here on the TikTok shop, and I ended up breaking records and selling 4,700 of them. It would actually be more than that because I now have to limit them to 50 per day because I need to be able to keep up with the bookmarks that I'm shipping out with them.
So what she did is she sold the pre-orders on her TikTok shop using the bookmarks as like the physical media that she would be sending.
And on top of that, I ordered 5,500 books to start, so I am literally running out of the limited edition that I didn't even think I'd sell 100 copies for. I have stepped into a role as an entrepreneur and a business owner, which is really, really exciting. It all happened in less than a month where I just started making 6 figures, and I got to actually hire my team of artists that I've been working with for a few months now. I now have animators on my team, and that book will be published on June 30th, 2025. It is coming very soon. Those of you asking about paperback pre-orders, that is in progress. We just need to reformat the book into a 5x8 format. We have everything else ready for like the hardback, the dust jacket, covers, that's all done. And in fact, the book is available for pre-order right now on ebook on Amazon. We are getting ready to launch a very big project, and I am super excited. If you've seen my face before, you know that I've worked on this project for 10 years, and it is my entire heart and soul. Every second of my day since February 15th has been 100% devoted to my book and my writing and my world. It means a lot to me, and so I went out of my way to mimic the traditional publishing process by working from the bottom up in the sense of an entrepreneur doing so. I am so looking forward to sharing this world with you guys. You have no idea how excited, thankful I am to be able to live my dreams like this. It has been such a shock factor that I've been going through recently, and it's the best kind of shock factor because I am seeing myself at last receive the results of the thing that I have worked so hard on for years and years and years. If you are seeing this video, more than likely you are seeing it when I have 50 copies available. I have sold about 4,700 copies, and I am out of them at 5,000. So if you are seeing this and you want a copy, you need to jump on it now. And that's not just me promoting the product, that's me saying they literally sell out within an hour. Thank you guys so very much for coming along on this ride with me and helping me achieve the thing that I have wanted my entire life. I appreciate it to a level that I cannot properly express, and so do my artist. You are not only giving me a job, but you're giving independent artists a job too. And we all do something that we very much love, and it's all based around this world that we bond over. Welcome to the world of Guardian.
Okay, so you kind of see what I'm talking about, right? So at this point, I think because she started making so much money and she was thinking about all of her other ideas and projects, the book started like not being as important as it should have been. Okay? Now, the book started shipping out in June, and I guess there was almost nobody talking about it. And lo and behold, she puts out this TikTok, and to me, it is very, very, very arrogant. All right, here is this very, very arrogant TikTok, and it has this like uplifting music behind it. I wish I could play it because it only adds to the smarts. It only adds to like the smirk she gives. Like, we're gonna watch this, right? So I'm gonna read it though. Let's talk about narrative voice, writing style, and psychic distance. This is a book about breaking the rules and overcoming conformity, which is like girl. So she goes, I write in the first person past tense. You are reading the story recalled by my narrator, Rika. This means that her internal reflection and emotional response are within the prose. Rika is neurodivergent. Right there. Did you see that? Did you see that? That face right there is at the height of the song. And there's something about that face to me that says, you bought into my bullshit. That's how I am viewing this TikTok. Her thoughts may be incomplete as she quickly jumps from one idea to the next. She info dumps about the world's history. It's her special interest. She thinks in fragmented sentences and repeats the same words to process them better. Do you see what she's setting up for? She's setting up for, I am the House of Leaves author. To me, her expression matters more than always having perfectly structured sentences. She really was going to come out here and sell us a book that was not finished and not revised. Do you tell stories without repeating small details? Yes, you can do that. You should do that. Do you always think and speak with perfect grammar? Yes. No, and neither should a realistic narrator. This is not a third person. Psychic distance varies with POV. You are immersed in my narrator's head. Let your narrators be poetic. Let them change the meaning of words. Let them be scattered and flawed. Like, do you see what I'm meaning? Like, this TikTok, to me, was very, very arrogant. I don't believe that she got an editor. I believe that she got an editor. She might have paid somebody. I believe she got an editor. I believe that she got a developmental editor. And the developmental editor, oh my God, I can't even say it. The developmental editor said that the book needed more line editing. She said that, I don't believe that the book was like, oh yeah, good to go. Good to go? Good to go. No, it was not good to go. And she goes back and forth between like giving numerous excuses. But that TikTok that I just showed you, that one was really the big one that said to me that she was probably going to sell everybody a shitty book. Because girl, you are not the House of Leaves author. You can break the rules, but only when you know them. We all know that you don't. And no matter how much you said, you cannot be trusted because of this. Because you used your awards. You used that little, like 10,000 hours of mastery. You used so many things to, like, you even said that you had the Hunger Games editor on your team at one point. Like, you were name dropping, using big achievements so people would get behind your writing, but without showing the writing. You did everything except show the writing. Anyway, during all of this, a video comes out by a guy named TL Lewis, and he makes an anonymous review, sort of. He showed up on my For You page, but I already knew kind of who he was talking about. I kind of already knew. It sounds weird, but I knew who he was talking about before I knew it was Audra, because I kept seeing her videos when I would open TikTok, and I would be like, she's still on this? Like, girl, just get the book out. So because the book had come out, I will show you what TL Lewis said, but not before this, okay? Right here, it says, this is just a slideshow, so I'm going to read it for you. It was brought to our attention today that the ebook for Age of Scorpius has many errors that has called its quality to be subpar in comparison to the paperback and hardcover. In my rush to release the ebook, I did not proof with the same attention and care I gave the physical copies. I am deeply sorry for the disappointment this oversight has caused. Do you see what, see what he's doing that? Like, we, not I. Like, it is not the artist, girl, it is not the artist's fault. It is not the artist's fault. Even if JK were to do this, her publishing company would come out and say, yeah, we fucked up, but also JK would be like, yeah, I fucked up. I was there for the process and I didn't finish it. Like, girl, you need to say it is your work. They just drew some shit. They weren't there writing the book for you. We have temporarily removed the ebook from sale and plan to re-release it with all the art included, as well as technical improvements and fixes of its content. Since the Kindle preview was previously available sample, we will be uploading a free sample within the next 2 hours as a scanned page of the first 2 chapters from the hardcover. It will be posted to our Patreon for easy access and linked girl, just say I, and linked at the top of my link tree. Additionally, we are actively working to update Amazon Barnes & Noble standard paperback copies with a higher quality second revised edition. Once released, those who have purchased the first edition will be available to request a code on our website for a free digital copy of the second edition. Additionally, I am seeking a second opinion from a third editor on a potential editing improvements. This is like only a few weeks after the book came out. What day was this? 7/29, a month after her book came out. She's talking about a second edition. She's talking about editing. She's talking about taking down her stuff. Like, girl, what are you doing? Earlier this year, I hired 2 experienced editors developmentally and copy edit The Age of Scorpius. Their names are in the acknowledgments of the book. Prior to these passes, The Age of Scorpius was in revision in the literary agency, critique groups, beta readers, various publishing professionals. However, we heard from you. Oh my god, I can't use her I words. There's always room for improvement. I greatly appreciate the encouragement to seek further feedback and polish the revised edition and strive to ensure for a comfortable reading experience. Why do I feel like she used ChatGPT for this? Girl can't write a book to save her skin, but she's able to write all this shit. During this time, I will take a small break from posting. My overall health has been deeply impacted and affected by the expectations for me to respond to criticisms and critiques less than a month after my first new release. Posting intentionally harmful criticisms on my page directed to me with a demand for me to answer puts me in an uncomfortable position as an author. Though I vastly appreciate all reader feedback and advice, I have received an alarmingly hurtful and misconstrued harassment intended to cause harm to me and my team. I don't believe anyone said, causing harm. I've seen some of the comments. People are just being dicks. But being dicks can be harassment, but I wouldn't say that they're threatening. I didn't see any threatening messages. So she's going to step away from her audience engagement. And then she thanks everybody here. I have unexpectedly become a new business owner of a creative studio with 20 plus contractors and employees. My aim has always been to uphold and foster a positive community of creatives who love creating and developing Guardian as much as I do. There is nothing more in my life that I care so deeply about than bringing joy to the others in the form of storytelling while operating a collaborative space for many dedicated and passionate artists. I am 22. There's still much for me to learn, but in the meantime, I am doing everything I can. Okay, girl. Okay. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you. Some of the stuff people said, some of that shit was kind of mean, and some of that shit was kind of funny. I'm gonna tell you guys my favorite comment. My favorite shitty comment was someone was like, "I thought this was Lily Tino," and I was like, "No, you fucking didn't. No, you fucking didn't. That was so mean. You didn't like it's so mean to just like even say like." I never thought that, but the fact that somebody said that, and there's also, under the one where she had the smug face, somebody commented, "This is such a funny way to discard all the criticism from the readers that the book is written terribly. Generally not sure," and she replies, "Genuinely not sure what criticism you were talking about. Made this video solely to talk about my writing voice, as I've had many people ask about stylistic choices, but not a criticism. I've maybe had 2-3 people make an opinion about my writing style. I've had dozens enjoy the story, prose, and narrative. I write fiction in a different way. Art is subjective. Writing isn't art, and some people won't like it." Bitch, you know what you're doing. You know that you revised that old-ass story, and when you had people edit it, I don't believe you. I believe you hired some people, and they looked over it, and then you didn't want to change it, and you just decided to leave it the way it was. You're crazy. And then there's this one that was like, from May. It was a TikTok from May, and it says, "Did you ever just decide on a random day in February you should give up to chase down your dreams and it works?" And then someone goes, "Aw, the good old days before everyone read the book." Like, most of the people on there that are leaving comments, they want her to write a better book. They don't want her to talk about her artist or her sprayed edges. And then there's also this like classic one. It's from SpongeBob. It's giving and all the comments on a lot of her videos are just variations of "just right." And like, here's another one that says, "Readers, we just want a polished, coherent novel, please. Audra, we're adding page borders. Her passion isn't this world, it's becoming a CEO." And you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of like that person, I'm CEO. You know the creator, I'm CEO. I'll put up one of their videos. They're funny. So now I want to talk about the guy she dragged. Okay, we're gonna talk about him. We're gonna go over this guy that she said ruined her career. She's blaming this guy for everything.
And we're gonna talk about it. If you're an indie author and you're thinking about publishing your book, please stick around and watch, because this is something that you really need to hear. So this book that I'm talking about, I'm not going to mention the author. I don't want to give them any unwarranted hate from any people. I only have 200 followers, so I got that happen anyways. But I finished the book a couple of days ago, and I was really contemplating about making this video, and I thought, if anything, I can do a video that might help another indie author in their journey. So to preface, this book was marketed extremely well. It sold 3, 4, 5, 6,000 copies on day one, before day one. They got many pre-orders based on the videos that they were posting on TikTok, which, great. Now here's the thing. When I went into that book, it was very evident from the first couple of paragraphs that this was an unseasoned author with an unseasoned voice, which, fine. I will give an author grace, especially an indie author who is doing it themselves and they're trying to make a name for themselves, because that's something that I intend to do. But I believe this author fell into the pitfall that many other indie authors fall into. Let me explain. Now, being a debut author does not mean this is the first book that they've ever written and it's the first book that they're publishing. It just means that it's the first book that they've published. But what a lot of indie authors do is they write their first book, they get excited, they start talking about it online, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, whatever, and then they decide to publish that first novel that they wrote as their debut. And it was very evident that that's what happened with this book. Now,
Okay, so I understand what this guy is talking about here. He thinks that a lot of people who write their first book, they want to publish that book. And that is mostly right. But the thing about Audra Winters is that she goes through revisions. Too many revisions, and she's just written the same topic. And she's mostly done world building. So she hasn't even really written anything serious before. She says she's written a novel, but I don't know. She says she's written 11 novels, but she's never had anyone look at those novels. And she's not like, you know what I mean? Like, there's no one else in the room besides her telling her that she's good. She says that they say that, but I wouldn't believe it. And she had a minor in creative writing. I feel like she should be a little bit better than she is.
Her had made mention in one of the videos that the book was something that they had worked on for 7, 8, 9, 10 years, however long it was, but it was years. And when I started reading the book, it was very evident that they did not grow very much as a writer in those 10 years. It felt like what they were doing was adding a lot of world building or magic, whatever it was. And that's what the marketing was toward, was the magic, was the world, were the characters. But here's the thing. People are only going to read that stuff and appreciate that stuff if there is a well fleshed out story within it. And so when I went into this book and I read it, I did not go to the Goodreads reviews. I did not go to the Kindle reviews. I saw the marketing. I saw the blurb. I thought it was something I would give a try, and I did give it a try. But afterwards, that's when I went to the Goodreads reviews. Now keep in mind, this book sold thousands of copies on pre-order. They're selling thousands more as we speak. And it is an unfinished product. It is 100% an unfinished product that was probably unedited and just shoved out to the people because people were asking to read it. And those Goodreads reviews, when I went and checked, were at like 50, which is not a lot, but had an average rating of 1.8. At 50 reviews, an average rating of 1.8, and that book is currently in the hands of thousands of people who probably have not finished the book yet. Probably in the hands of people who won't finish the book because they can tell it's not a good book, it's not a finished product, it hasn't been edited. And so what does that mean? They're going to get flooded with more reviews, with reviews that are going to be very negative and are just in those reviews. The people leaving those have every right to do that because, as I said, it's an unfinished product. So if you're an author and you have written your first book and you're wanting to self-publish, you do not have to publish that first book that you have ever written. Me personally, what I did was I wrote book 1, went to book 2, wrote book 2, went to book 3, wrote book 3, went to book 4, all the way up until 14, 15 books. Right now, I'm going to publish my 15th book, probably January of 2026. And now with me saying that, I'm not saying that you cannot write a good first book that you have ever written. I'm not saying you can't write well or you're not writing good enough to release to the market. What I'm saying is your first book is going to be worse than your second book. Your second book's going to be worse than your third book. A lot of us like to think we're an exception to the rule, but that's simply not the case. You know, it takes thousands upon thousands of hundreds of thousands of millions of words for some people to be good at writing. And if you're like me...
Okay, I believe and do not believe this statement. So I have been text role-playing for a very long time, and that is making full stories where it's essentially a collaborative writing piece, right? That's essentially what it is. And you take in factors like story and characters and writing from different points of view. And there's also the fact that I went to college and I didn't take a minor, but I kind of did, sort of, where I took classes for writing because I had planned to do scientific writing, like professionally. That was my first idea of things I wanted to do. So I did grant writing, and I did a bunch of other writing, and I did research paper writing, and I did policy stuff, and I did how to get a grant, and I did creative writing. I did loads of writing in college. I will say only after I finished college did I really see my writing flourish and see all of the little things that are wrong with my writing. I'm not saying that I'm perfect, but I feel that I am a good writer now. And I feel that saying that you have to write 14 fucking novels, I don't think you need to write 14 novels. I think that you have to have extensive experience in writing different things, whether it be you write short stories, you write fan fiction, where you have made a cohesive plot or something that is cohesive together. That's just my opinion.
That's what it took. It took me 15 novels before I felt comfortable enough to release a product. Now, is this product going to be perfect? No, it's not. Nothing you release will ever be perfect. Will I be confident enough in my own writing voice, in my own style, in the story, in the craft that I've spent years honing? Yes, I'll be more confident knowing that I have 15 books under my belt before I decide to release my debut novel. So if you're an indie author and you're thinking about publishing that first book that you have ever written, take a step back, jump into another product, finish another manuscript. Once you finish it, go back to that first book, read it, and see if you truly think it's worth publishing. Because I bet you it won't be. The only reason I decided to make this video was not to dog on this author, because I do feel like with time, they will become a good writer. But that's what it's going to take. It's going to take time. It's going to take repetition. It's going to take many manuscripts under your belt before, you're ready. And being ready might be different for each person. Someone who wrote their second book might be as good as someone who wrote their 10th book. That's just how it is. But you need to take a step back and ask yourself, is what I'm writing good enough to be released? I finished one.
So after finishing that, I don't think that he was cruel or mean in any way, shape, or form to her. And I think that she has overblown that person's whole thing. he didn't even like harass her, but she was getting it regardless because the books are not returnable, nor are they readable in the state they're in. So why did she drag this man? Why? He was a cool dude. He literally gave her good advice. So after she starts getting excessive amount of backlash, she makes another TikTok on her steps to fix it. But the thing is that her ass is back in this Elizabeth Holmes outfit. Like, it's a bad look, and she's doing the cool background and the black top, and I'm a corpo. Like, girl's a bad look. But let's see what she has to say this time.
My name is Audra Winters. I am the creator of the World of Guardian, and today I am coming on here to talk about a couple of pretty large updates. We are pushing the release date of the second edition of AOS into March. I'll explain why in a second, but we took a lot of time in the past 2 weeks with everything going on to basically...
I want to talk about this we shit. So she's talking about the people in her team are making the suggestion, not her. She is the person who is like, she is the person that is the head of this team. What is she doing calling it we? Like,
together an 8-step plan for a revision process. My goal is to get through 1 chapter at least every week, 2 if I can, but we don't want to rush it. So 1 chapter is what I really feel comfortable with based on the structure that we have built. First step in this revision process is that my team has a meeting at the beginning of every week before I start revising the chapter. Multiple of us have taken feedback from across the internet from a lot of you guys, and we like to discuss the things that are happening in each chapter and what can we do to improve it. This core team is made up of about 6 to 8 people across the arts, across different mediums, and people who have already read the first version of the book at least once, if not twice. The second step that I am taking in this revision process is essentially reverse engineering a writing process.
Okay, we're going to talk about this. She has created something that I don't think she understands yet. So when she says that she is doing a writer-artist trade-off development for the descriptive prose, she says that she's going to be in, like, you know what, I'll let her say it first, and then I'll...
One of my employees is my secondary developers. I actually get on a call almost every single night for about 3 hours with Sully. And what we are doing is, before I start revisions after the team meeting, we then have another brainstorming session. And this brainstorming session is me verbally describing the outline for the revised chapter that I'm doing. So going over scenes, going over plot, and I'm working through them with my words, actively talking. And Sully helps me to develop, change ideas, shift things around. But what Sully also does is Sully is an artist. And so Sully will literally draw these things while I am outlining and do some concept art for this chapter. I am then writing descriptions based off of that art, which is really cool because it's fun to have visuals while you're writing. And the fact that I can have visuals of the things that I am writing is even cooler. Third step, simple.
All right, now we're going to talk about it. Because she has involved all of these people into her novel now. All of these people are involved in her book. Not in the way that they should be as contractors. But now she's talking to them about plot and the process and the revision steps. She's talking a lot about involving them in the process. At this point, the world of Guardian is no longer hers. It is everyone who is in the world of Guardian. If Sully, I would say half of the book even belongs to Sully because she's basing her descriptions on what Sully draws. She's not taking her own like versions and, you know, like, let's say that there's a volcano with there's a volcano, right? And there's a moat around it that he draws the moat in. She writes it in her novel. If she does all that, whose idea is it really? It's clearly Sully's idea because he made the version of it. But if he's contracted, it's all hers. But he should get a voice in it because it is his drawings. I don't know. Anyway, let's I think she's going to lose ownership of this.
I rewrite the chapter. This I do by myself because it's my writing and my story. Fourth step, the entire team goes over it again. So if there's any changes that need to be made in the storytelling, I'll do that and I'll adjust it. Fifth step, we are bringing on an in-house copy editor and proofreader. This is not just somebody from our audience. We are only hiring somebody with a lot of experience in editing, preferably somebody who has been both in self and traditional publishing, and we're going through a lot of applications. That copy editor will also do some line edits, and after they're done with that, we're going to do a one-on-one discussion and apply those changes. Step 6 is that formatting. So our formatter, Joe, he was the person who did all the formatting on the first edition of AOS, is going to go in and re-put that file into the book format. After Joe does that, it will then go through another round of proofing. So somebody that has not been involved up at this point will go through and look at that brand new finalized chapter to make sure there are no errors in the actual book file. And if that was not enough proving, we are taking the entire creative team, and at the end of all the finalization, we're going to go through it and check one last time if there are any errors at all. You heard me mention in the last video that there would be some changes in the artistic content in the book itself, and that is because that core team of people that help with feedback and making that outline, while I am revising and while the copy editor is editing, those people love doing the art for this thing, so they're just going to go in and do some really cool things that involve artistic storytelling along with literature-based narrative.
So she's back to talking about the art. She's talking so little about the writing and so much about the art. Girl, just write the damn thing. Like, I get it. You really, really, really want to, like, have this book be your baby, but you're not giving it the how many you have all these people involved in the outline of your novel. Are you insane? You're insane. You have to be insane.
So we're incorporating elements such as different like page borders, and we're doing that because there are scenes in the book where like it's a recollection of a memory, and so making that obvious by like art and outlining the page is going to be really cool. We're basically approaching this in the most artistic and creative way that we can, between how can we best revise this book based upon what it needs, what do we need for this book, what have we heard from people, and then what can we do to make it extra special and make that storytelling really shine as a team. And so that is how I built that.
You know what? She's doing it as a team. Let me say this. I think that what you should have done is you should have had that first book edited properly and fixed. Put that book out with all that pretty art, and then came out with the special edition. And people would have bought that special edition. People would have bought both your books, but now people got a bad taste in their mouth about you because you're doing all this corpo shit.
Step revision process. We are completely discontinuing print on
And you
demand.
didn't edit the
You
book.
won't be able to find this book on like Amazon or Barnes & Noble anymore, and that is because when we distribute the books and buy them from the printers, that profit goes directly back into our studio. So for those of you that have been wondering like, how in the world did I pull this all off? I acted in the same way a publisher would. So I did a lot of research on who do publishers use to print their books, how do they distribute their books, and so I found a method on the TikTok shop of distributing them myself. We buy the books in bulk, so we buy big shipments of like 5,500 books. Unlike an author who has published like print on demand, we retain almost all of our profit from that book, and it goes directly back to my team. So the folks that are working on this with me get royalties. We're taking our time on this next one. We're using the whole creative team, bringing on those in-house editors, so we're incorporating everything that we built up to this point into improving the book. Super excited to share those revised chapters with you guys as we go, and I'm really show people the process that we're taking and how to involve a lot of creative minds in the publication of a book and in the building of a larger series that will turn multimedia. We're going to be posting these revised chapters on our Patreon for free, open to the public. Obviously not all of them in the book. That would not be a wise decision, but enough of them to help to rebuild trust in our audience, because I screwed up, and I know, I'm sorry. Thank you if you made it this far. I appreciate the support and the feedback from everybody up to this point. Really excited to continue sharing this world with you and the best way that we can. So welcome to the world of Guardian.
All right, so now we're back to whatever this is, where I don't think that she understands that putting all of she's making, so 7 people wrote this book. She's just doing the physical part of writing. This is what I think is happening based on what she says, only what she says. She goes and she has a Discord call on Mondays to talk about the project. And then during every night, she is reworking to do the outline or the first chapter at that point. And she hasn't done it yet, but that's what she's going to do. And then Sully, who has so much time to offer 3 to 4 hours every night for talking about her world, who I 100% believe is in love with her. And I just don't know. She did put out a video that came that was like a week ago or 2 weeks ago. And in that video, it's too long. It's like 16 minutes long. I don't even know if I want to put it in this video because it's super long. But in that video, she goes over like a lot. But in that video, like it's one of the pinned videos. If you guys want to go watch it, you can. I'm just gonna save you. I'm just saving you. I'm just saving you from watching it. So originally they decided to move it to December, the book, and then they decided to change that so that now it's in March of 2026. They're gonna revise a chapter or more a week, and they're going to post it up on Patreon or not post it on Patreon. And then they're going to have all this time, but there's not enough time to do that. Like, that's 39 weeks because it's 39 chapters, girl. And before I cut off here, I'm going to show you the first page that was on Amazon, and then I'm going to show you the other free one. But in her 60-minute video, she just talks about her life and talks about how she's not eating, but also like it's a me. She's not talking about people's money that she took, because the idea is to not give refunds. And the reason why she doesn't have to give refunds is because she put out the pre-order with a bookmark, right? And the bookmark came free. So she sent them the bookmarks. So I was sending them the books. Some people got books with the bookmark. Some people just got the bookmarks. They're waiting for books. So she sent them out over a period of time, but there are people who never got the product. And I feel like she hasn't even assessed that yet. Like, people who pre-ordered didn't get their books, but she got all this money. I don't even know how much. Let's talk about how much she made. So people are saying she made about $8,000. Let's do a little looky-loo. $8,000. Yes, it is $8,000, because that's how many books she got. Times 22 at the price. So that's $176,000. She made a crazy amount of money. But people have had a lot of thoughts about her. Oh, you guys need to watch some of the videos. The one who talked about the periscom thing, and she used her ADHD and her autism as a way to try to get out of this. It's like she tried to use everything she could. She tried to make it about how she's queer, that she's a lesbian, ADHD, autism. Like, she tried to use every little like single thing in the book. Like, let me tell you, my husband has autism. And he has a lot of special projects that he works on. And I have ADHD. And I have never used any of my disorder. And he has never used his disability to put out a shitty product. I never went, oh my God, my ADHD got the best of me. The most things people have seen me do is sometimes I have posted stupid shit on Twitter with no context. And Twitter is a garbage pail. So nothing. If I woke up one day and one of my posts went viral, I would be like so surprised, because I probably didn't even remember posting. Last night at 2 a.m. I posted a TikTok, and I didn't even know I posted it because I was asleep at my chair. So there's no excuse. She worked on this book for 6 months and then put out a shitty product. And I really think, in my theory, my tinfoil theory, I really think that she took that original book, the whatever it was called, the Zodiac Turners. I think she took that book, whatever was in it, took it down, rehashed it, replaced some of the names and the locations to make it fit her world better, and then put it out. Because she says that every time she gets a revision, that she needs to rewrite something, she rewrites the whole book from front to back.
9 books in the series. We're counting revisions, because when I revise, I restart the entire thing.
She's not actually looking at the text, and she's not looking at the text because she can't, because it's too hard for her to be judgmental over something that she is so close to. Sorry. I just that's pretty much it. I just think that she put out a bad product. She just wanted to release the product that was the original product because she already wrote it. I don't have sympathy for her. Some people wanted her to get sympathy because she's 22. You know who didn't get sympathy? The guy who wrote Aragon. He was fucking 18 years old. He was still in high school writing the manuscript for his novel. I don't want to hear shit. Like J.K. Rowling was fucking destitute, depressed, destitute, like poor. And she still wrote a good book that got published. Like, girl, you had no business releasing that. I don't think she read through it, but what she has been doing is she is giving updates per week and saying what has gone on and doing questions. And now she's hired an editor. Now she's also doing a new another video. I can't even play the music because she always got to play this sad ass shit. I want to show who I really am. There's no captions. Yep, she still's got that shitty music, so we're not going to be able to listen to it, but I'm going to try to tell you what it says. So she's thanking everybody for giving her a second chance, and she's grateful, and she keeps talking about this fucking team shit. Like, girl, please. But before, what she was talking about back here was there's two There's 2 chapters available to the public on her Patreon. So when she says here that when she put up the pre-orders, it instantly went viral. So she's talking about instead of doing it through a print on demand, she ordered the books from a traditional, like the way that traditional printers do it. She also says that she sold dozens of thousands of copies. And she said she turned everything right back into her company, all the money. So I think that when the artists say that they're getting paid per piece, they truly are getting paid per piece. And she's just paying them crazy money to do art. Paying them crazy. If she's got $176,000, she's paying them crazy money to do art constantly of all of her. Like, if I had $170,000, I could probably get a majority of my world painted or illustrated, and I would only be mostly interested in doing the landscaping because I fucking suck at it. But yeah, so there's not much after this because she's just doing a weekly Q&A thing. But I think that Audra Winters, she is a girl that has stars in her eyes and is dumb as fuck about this like weird ass CEO shit that she's doing. I think that by shipping the bookmarks apart from the books, it was her way to keep the money, because if you don't send a product after 60 days, they will refund on the TikTok shop. I didn't know that right away, but now that I do know that, I know that I feel that she has eaten a lot of the goodwill from the people in her audience. I will be very surprised if she gets the same amount of people repurchasing. And I think that it's shitty that she knows that she's abusing the system. And I think she might be using her charisma to get friends and to help her write the novel. Like, she already knows what this looks like. I don't know why she would do this. So let's go over, I'm going to read a part of the Age of Scorpius. Let's see. Let me look. PDF. All right, so I have them both up. Here's the one. And we're just going to gently read a little bit of her novel here. So here, I'm not going to read that. We're going to read the first page. Well, we're going to read 2 pages. All right, here's the original, chapter 1. Someone had written, oh my God, this is going to be the worst part of this video. Okay, guys. So like, literally be chill. Like, do not be dicks. Okay. Like, I know someone's going to be in the comments being like, oh my God, your voice work. Oh my God, your voice. I know my voice is fucked up. Like, I know. Okay. I know. But speaking out loud is literally part of my problem that I had speech therapy for. If you guys didn't know, I have a speech delay. Okay. So chill out. All right. Someone had rewritten the history of Conviction Woods, the cursed forest I call home, despite all the text describing Conviction Woods as eternally uninhabitable. There were hundreds of wartime artifacts scattered amongst the forest grounds. The records had been altered to hide the truth of the Guardian's last war, a truth that allowed the woods to protect those mysteriously meant to survive beyond its boundaries. I lingered on the edge of the farthest northern reach of Conviction Woods. Before me, a crumpled and dilapidated stone arch, old runic etched across its surface, worn away by the structure returning to the earth. A few fallen stones lay scattered across the ground, freezing into the dirt as ancient remnants conjoined with snow and soil. Beyond the arch's gaping mouth laid Assidusius, Baron's territory. Assidusius' barren territory, like said twice, like right after each other. And its occupants who didn't want me meandering on their land. Telling, not showing. It was too late for me to trace the rest of the runic on the arch. I'd only recorded the lower carvings, my arms too short to reach the tallest stones. I let my eyes linger on the writing to try to memorize the patterns. The clock ticked as enemies neared. I don't like that. And while my feet drew away from the arch, my mind bent around the writing. The arch's inscriptions must have been centuries old. I'd never, in any of my studies, seen a combination of Union languages on an artifact. Mixing 2 Union languages was almost unfathomable. Almost unfathomable. This is a bad sentence. Mixing 2 Union languages was almost unfathomable to modern day society. Besides, our common tongue, Guardian, prioritized the separation of the 4 unions: conviction, assiduous, arturic, and societal. She got to get better names. Those are bad names. Hard to say, too. In their own societies and territories. Even more intriguing, the arch dated back to the war where conviction and assiduous were enemies. A combination of 2 languages was more than further proof that Guardian's recorded history was very wrong. I had spent months scouring over records, libraries, and books to pinpoint the location of the arch as soon as I spotted it mentioned in the 300-year-old document. The character isn't, I do not know where she is right now. I know she's looking at an arch. Is it inside? Is she in a forest? It's, hard to pinpoint where she is. But she's also, going on and on about this other shit. My research eventually revealed that the arch was placed in Assyrian territory on the edge of the woods at the border, though that could have spanned hundreds of miles and the eastern part of the hub. Guardians shared central city to the coastline to the continent. To trace the steps of ancient battles to the coordinates of the arch was a tedious process requiring my nose to be stuck in at least a dozen scrolls within the past couple of months. Deciphering... Oh my god, this is so long. I'm sorry, my voice is also bad. Deciphering the arch was my next step to decoding the true history of Conviction Woods. And the moment I finally found it, an Assyrian border patrol just had to be there, of course. There is no doubt about it. The 2 of them had spotted me. I stepped past the 10-foot wide path into Assyrian territory where the arch stood, and they were headed straight towards me. I backed up to Conviction Woods, safely passing beyond the aura of protection set on the trees. A faint shimmering aura of gold, green, and silver light flickered and shifted around the lanterns as I settled into Conviction's territory on the opposite side of the trail. I don't understand what she is saying here. So she backed up to the border and into the aura of trees. Is the aura gold and green and silver? I don't know. Although it was a remarkably visible, oh my god, this is terrible, visible barrier, many Assyrians, especially new recruits, were stupid enough to break through it, no matter how many times their Stellarium higher-ups warned them. What? Oh, I'm sorry. The 2 patrols were approaching, both wearing thick winter cloaks and fur hoods. The man wore a forest green embroidered with the Assyrian emblem and Taurus glyph, while the woman flaunted while the woman flaunted an umber, I don't think that's the coat, with the Virgo glyph. You saw her, didn't you? Said the Taurus man. At the arch? Yes, the Virgo woman responded. She wouldn't have had time to run north or south on the east trail, so she went into Conviction Woods? Not a chance. She wouldn't survive. Are you sure you saw a red cloak? I'm certain. I'm tired of you doubting my every word. Right there is kind of a mid. They couldn't have been older than 25. Young and inexperienced was what Assyrian Stellarium looked for an employee. An easy job that made income enough to provide a young adult to live. Conviction hired guards for the same purposes, though through our border. Okay. Alright, so that was the first 2 chapters, and I feel that it is not a good hook. Me personally, I don't think it's a good hook. That's just me. So now she has some beautiful art here made by somebody who is not named, but she has the first chapter, so we're gonna read what she has here now. Ooh, I can't do it that way. Okay. Since the foundation of Guardian, Conviction Woods was believed to be uninhabitable, yet within its reach withered the ghosts of the last war and their rain-hushed cries. Evidence of human presence dwelled within the depths of the forest, where spears and shields rusted among flourishing sword ferns. When wolves howled with wartime grief, the trees whispered a silent truth. Conviction Woods wasn't always cursed, for if it had been, the spirits of its soldiers would not live beneath mangled roots from Conviction Woods wasn't always cursed, for if it had been, the spirits of the soldiers would not live beneath mangled roots grown from old blood. I lingered at the woodland's northern edge, trees lining the dirt road, that conviction and insidious territory. Before me, a faint shimmering wall of gold, green, and silver light flickered and swirled between the trunks that marked the boundary of the woods. Enchanted paper lanterns, their flames dying, were draped over branches. They warned outsiders of dangers within, in case the long list of obituaries hadn't already scared them away. I don't know why it skips to page 12, but we're just gonna, whatever. So someone drew Conviction Woods, where the person's house is, Assidious, which can I tell you something about world building that I fucking hate? When people make worlds that have different fucking biomes, can you stop? It is so tired. It's tired and old and tired. Skipping biomes and making it have no reason to be a forest in one area and fucking sand dunes right next to it. That's just not how the world works. I know you all really love to fucking do that, but it's just so bad. It's just, when I hear about that or I see it in fiction, I just want to throw myself off of a cliff and just flatten against a car. So I'll just read this last page here because she skips a bunch of pages. The tale of Conviction Woods were tales of death told only by survivors who could not look away when the forest seized their companions. Stories said that the forest would hum through needles and bark, whistles weaving between branches to warn of the wolf pack that lived within. When grief fell upon the teller's words, they'd wave their hands and arms to represent plumes of black smoke and transformed wolf into beast. The monster devoured its prey, the metaphysical realm, before devouring them. When grief fell upon the teller's words, they waved their hands and arms to represent the plumes of black smoke that transformed wolf into beast. The monster devoured its prey in the metaphysical realm before devouring them in the physical realm, bearing teeth that could render soul from flesh and flesh from bone. Conviction Woods made no exceptions for its carnage or curse, but I knew that wasn't true, for the wolves had taken me into their pack. What? What? My thoughts drifted to what lay beyond the forest boundaries, soon interrupted by a wet nose against my back. Alright, I've had enough of this. So what do you guys think of Audra Winters? Her story is still ongoing. If you guys like this video, please subscribe. I put out new videos every Wednesday. This is a video that I have been very passionate about wanting to cover because, I'm working on my light novel, which is a smaller novel that might have some pictures in it at some point. But if you'd like to support me, I do have a Patreon for that. I have not posted anything new in my Patreon because I just had too much going on, but you will see some stuff this coming week if you're interested. And please subscribe. I'm trying to get to 15K. I would love to do that before the end of the year. That would be the Christmas present. If you guys want to give me a cool Christmas gift, just subscribe. I would love that. And I will be working on Inktober sketches this week on stream. I will be doing 2 streams until I finish all of the sketches, or I rehash some of my old sketches into new ones. So I will see you guys next time. Please take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye!